Hello, our viewers. A very good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching us from. This is the Big Topic Show. I am your host, Alex. Today we have two guests in the building. They will be telling us who they are and what they do, and then we can dive into our today's discussion. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hello, viewers. My name is Nalu Fiona Jessica. I work with Coherent. Nice to be here.
You are welcome. And the gentleman on my left, kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you, Madam Alex. My name is Lucifer Ibrahim, the DIC manager, Coherent.
You are so much welcome. Today we are going to be discussing on a topic that most women, they may not be most, but some women consider it to be another method of family planning, and that is abortion. However, we are not going to be talking about abortion. We are diving into what happens when someone uses something else to carry out the abortion, and that is what we call unsafe abortion. So our guests today are going to be telling us if they have encountered some of the stories of the people that have carried out unsafe abortions, what they have been using, and their experience. Let me start with the lady on my right. Have you encountered or had any stories from the community of some women, young people, girls who have carried out unsafe abortions?
Yes, of course. When we deal in the community, we interact with different people. So one day, I was interacting with a lady. She was a young lady. So she came to me and narrated a story about what happened to her when she tried doing unsafe abortion. This lady, she was married. She had a husband, but because of these jobs we get, the husband used to travel. So he used to come back home once in a while over the weekend, or like maybe after like 2 months, sometimes like that. So this lady happened to be having another boyfriend, not the other husband. So one day she found out that she was pregnant. But because the pregnancy was not for the husband, and this time around the husband has taken like 3 months without coming home. So what she had to do was to try abortion. But this time around she did it in an unsafe way. When she did the unsafe abortion, she lost a lot of blood. But since she had a maid at home, the maid was there to help her to take her to the hospital. So when they took her to the hospital, the uterus was supposed to be removed because she had injured it. So the uterus was removed and the husband received the news. So when the husband came back, they just had to divorce. So she lost the marriage. At the same time, she lost the uterus. She cannot give birth again. So I just felt sorry about that because if at all she knew about the safe abortion options, she would have saved the marriage and have uterus.
Did she ever tell you what she used in particular to terminate the pregnancy?
It was there is a kind of a root. It's a wandering Jew. She used it to pierce herself inside. So when she pierced, she just damaged the uterus.
That's a sad one because the woman ended up losing the uterus. Let's hear from the gentleman if you have had any experience with unsafe abortions and maybe stories.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So the experiences are many. There are quite a number of situations, and many people are carrying out unsafe abortions. Like previously, I think the last month of October, whereby I came across a certain documentary which was running whereby a dad has been mounting the daughter, and the daughter ended up getting pregnant, and he could bring the girl tried to narrate different than my daddy brought for me a certain herb, like he told me to take it. In the long run, she made it like she went on having multiple abortions, which were unsafe in the long run, which would have caused like danger to her life and loss of confidence. You know, at the times when you are being harassed and you end up getting pregnant as a young girl, an adolescent, So the experiences are all over, and there are many in the communities.
You've talked about a young girl, and on my side, the lady was talking about an adult, right? It gets me asking myself, what age category is most affected when it comes to unsafe abortion? Like when you're working in the communities, which age category do you normally find?
In the community, we deal more with the adolescents. Why? Because they are most vulnerable. You can find that these people, they are into their adventure times. I would want to explore how this is done. You know, when we watch movies, we see people kissing, having sex. So I want also to try that. I want to get that feeling. How does it feel to play sex? Especially when I'm not putting on a condom. Because we hear when you're putting on a condom, it doesn't feel so good. I want to feel that body, that erection part, you know. So the adolescents, they are most vulnerable for unsafe abortions.
That I think affects the young people more, because I mean, she just talked about I do not want to use a condom. That will be a topic for another day, but I mean, it is quite interesting. I think earlier on, if I quoted you well, you talked about if the lady had known about the safe options, maybe should opt for that. And that brings me to a question of, is there something like safe abortion?
I'll continue by giving you that answer, that safe options are there, and we have them in facilities. Yes, so the safe methods are there.
Now, if the safe methods are there, why do you think these young people are not reaching out for these safe options? Because I think we are losing out on a number of young people. People are dying. It may not be out there, but I think even you who are watching us, you might have heard of someone who lost their lives, someone who got complications of unsafe abortion. So why do you think these young people are not coming out to get these safe options if they are available?
Well, they have fear, stigma. How will I face the health workers that have come to seek for an abortion? First of all, if you look at my age, it depends. Some over like 12, 13, 14 and above. So I assume that this person is 12 years. She'll be like, how can I go to a health facility, talk to the doctor that, you know what, I'm pregnant and it's like this and this. I would like to carry out an abortion. Because of the fear I'm having, and how will the people see it? Even when you go back home, how will my parents see it? In the community, how will the people perceive it? So we have that fear. Most of the young people fail to access the safe abortions because of the stigma.
Okay, now, before I even continue with more questions, you've talked about the fear that these young people are having. Is abortion okay in our country or not? What do you have to say?
I'll continue like adding on what my colleague has been discussing for you. Due to that, we are in the restrictive area whereby Uganda abortion is not legalized. At times, it is one of the hindering factors whereby someone fears to go for the medical attention, whereby fails to go for a service. Due to that, there is that criminality which has been there is a penalty that if you have been found guilty, whereby a person may be a medical officer who is participated in the help or offering a service, even the parents, and there are those restrictions which are being attached. So at the times it is one of the most hindering factor in our country, whereby those young people and women out there who may want to go for a service, they tend to fear because the laws in Uganda, they don't favorable, so they don't allow to get an abortion under certain circumstances.
Now, assuming, because earlier on she talked about these people having the fear to reach out to the the facilities and all the stigma. Now, assuming our law is legalized or abortion is legalized and anyone is allowed to come in for an abortion service, do you think the young people would still come to get these services? If no, why do you think they would be hesitant to get these services?
Like, at times there are quite a number of barriers, or there are a lot of factors which are hindering young people from accessing the abortion care. Like, also, once we go to, like, outside Uganda, we look to the countries which have legalized abortion, like Zambia and so many other countries, that you find out that still the unsafe abortion still occurs. So legalizing the abortion care at the times doesn't mean that it will automatically lead to people access the service, because there is stigma, which my colleague talked about. So the stigma, these young adolescents, at the times they fear, what will my family say? What will my friends see? What will the community I live in, how will they perceive it that, Irene, I conducted an abortion? At the times there are those factors which still need to be addressed, which need to be pushed, so that people can understand that everyone is having a choice and they're having a decision over their own bodies. So there are a lot of factors which will still hinder the access for the uptake, not only the legal part, but also there is stigma, the fear. People still fear.
So the number of things that affect the young people from coming for these services. And we shall take a short break. But before we go for that break, kindly remind your friend or your workmate or the person close to you to tune in into this big topic show, because we always discuss big topics. We discuss issues that affect us as young people and any other person in the community. So remind your colleague to tune in into Coherinet TV and follow us. Let's go in for a short break. Please stay around. Welcome back from that short break. This is still the big topic show. Before we went for a short break, we're talking about some of the challenges that the young people are facing when it comes to unsafe, that leads them to carry out unsafe abortions. And one of them that my two guests had talked about was stigma. Now, let me first come back to you and maybe help us elaborate if there are more challenges apart from the stigma that you talked about, and what are these other challenges?
Before I go for another challenge or the other hindering factors, I would like to first broaden a bit the stigma and the fear for judgment. Stigma is categorized in different categories, whereby there is what we call institutional stigma. This which includes the religion, the culture, and so many other, like even the hospitals, because they are all institutional. Then we have our second, at the times, which the second one we are having is the community. So there is that community stigma, whereby the community, they can isolate that person if they come to know that maybe carried out an abortion. They feel that is an outcast at times. Then we come, like, at times even the family, they can chase you out of the home. That, you Irene, you are no longer, you were shame to the family, and they kick you out. Also, there is what we call individual stigma, whereby you yourself, at times you feel guilty about the decision you made, whereby at times you feel you are not, you have committed something which is evil. So that's the little bit, if I try to broaden. So the stigma, at times it may not be to the individuals, even it can go to providers in the hospitals, whereby someone may come to access for a service, and maybe a 14-year child, and the medical person may ask for the consent, maybe from the parent, and this girl is fearing to ask for the consent from the parents, whereby is doing it in secrecy, and she doesn't want these people to know. So another thing at times which leads people to the unsafe abortion still, at times, the knowledge gap, whereby people, they are not aware about their rights. They don't know about the options which are available, so they don't know what to go or what to do, where to go if I need for a service. So at times they end up into doing the unsafe way, whereby at times it is cheap. Someone may go, he just picks a local herb and they use and to terminate the pregnancy.
Now you talked about institutional stigma, and I'm sure a viewer out there might also be having the same question that I'm about to ask you. When you talk about maybe the religion, do you want to tell me that the religion is making the young people go for unsafe abortions? I just want to understand your point.
Yes.
So that I don't get you wrong. Because from the way you're explaining it, I think that's how I'm understanding it. Maybe you can throw more light on that to, make us understand what you're trying to mean.
Oh, so when we talk about the institutional stigma, and like in quotes, you talked about the religion. When we talk about the religion, the religion contributes a lot to our I don't know how I can phrase it, but it means a lot into our lives, whereby at times we tend to be attached to a certain religion, like our beliefs and values. So in certain religions, whereby they may tell you that committing an abortion, that's killing someone. So the mere hear of that you are killing someone, and at times we tend to call a baby, like a fetus, to be called a baby when it is out of the womb at times. So that only statement whereby someone may tell you that you are committing sin, you are killing someone. So when I talked about religion, due to that, they nurture us into our moral values and whatever's the things ethics and many issues. So religion, it is one of the big fundamental factor into our lives, whereby it helps us to be sharpened in a way which is we assume to be right. So it can hinder someone whereby he fears to come for a service.
Let me turn to the lady on the right. Among the challenges that one of that your colleague has talked about is stigma and maybe the knowledge gap. I don't know if you have any other challenge that these young people come out and tell you when you're in the community. If so, maybe you can add on that.
Before I give out any other challenge, I would like also to talk about stigma. There is culture stigma. So when we come into culture, we people respect culture so much that even when it comes to children, it is a sign of respect in our family. Because people of long ago in traditional Africa, a man who used to bear very many children used to get prestige and respect in the community. So when it comes back to abortion, in culture, if any lady carries out an abortion, that is like a sign of you're disrespecting culture. Otherwise, you can even get curses from the parents. Why are you doing that? You'll never give birth again. It's like it will be on you for the rest of your life. Yes, it follows you. So you can find that people get fear because of that. To add more the challenges, there is lack of enough funds among people. Because when you try to look at the costs and the geographical areas where everyone is staying, it also affects people. You can find that a person living down in the village, she cannot get money that can carry out an abortion. Yet in some areas it's expensive according to where you've gone to carry out that abortion. So also lack of course, it's another challenge. Then there is also lack of contraceptions. You know, these some of the young people, they have no information on contraceptions. You can talk about like there is condoms. You can talk about the implants. Most of them, they don't know them. So you can find that if this person has no luck to get contraceptions and you get pregnant, of course she'll be forced to carry out unsafe abortion.
When you talked about the lack of contraception, it reminded me of one of the, was it like a law or something they were trying to talk about in the parliament, where they were talking about the young people should be given access to contraception.
From 15 years, girls from 15 years and above, they should start getting contraception, family planning, to reduce on the unplanned pregnancies.
Yes, and I think that's why it is affecting the young people mostly, because if a 15-year-old cannot get a contraceptive, that means they will definitely do what? Conceive, because I mean they're exploring. So at the end of the day, we are going to have unwanted pregnancies, and that's how we shall get unsafe abortions. However, I want us to find out from you too. You could maybe help us out here, because we are talking about unsafe abortions. Young people are dying, and that is a fact. What do you think can be done to reduce on these unsafe abortions? Because they are happening. What do you think can be done?
Well, one, to educate everyone in the community, not specializing like the young or the adult, to educate everyone about the family planning methods. Because if at all everyone knows that there are family planning options, they would opt for them. But since the access to information is still low, so the better thing we can do is to do more awareness sessions in the community. We tell people about the safe options. If it is abortion, there are safe options. Where can they be referred? If at all it's family planning, which is the best, we can teach them about everything, the advantages, the disadvantages, and what can come after if at all you don't opt for family planning options. And also we can do advocacy. Advocate for a change in policy guidelines and the laws, because where we are staying in our country, the laws and the policies are restricting abortion. So if we advocate for a change with all the stakeholders, the government and everyone who is concerned, we can try to reduce on the maternal mortality among the people.
Okay, to the gentleman on my left, what do you think can be done to reduce on these unsafe abortions that are happening and killing the young generation?
First of all, I'll continue with the advocacy bit, whereby in advocacy, we like it is a component of, it is having many things in it to be unpacked, whereby we can call upon the stakeholders, like the government officials, the policy makers, to look into the abortion law, which is non-decisive. So it is not supportive and it is not denying, whereby it just need to be re-amended. So we just need to call upon stakeholders and other policy makers, then also sensitizing communities through dialoguing with different officials, engaging young people in knowing which is right and which is not true. Because at times there are misinformation and myth, like the myth and the misinformation out there, whereby an adolescent will ask the fellow peer, and at times they end up misleading them. So if they are equipped with knowledge to know which is right to be done, and to know which is where do I need to go for a service and where do I need to go for information, so it can help to control the number of people who are carrying out unsafe abortions at the times, which leads to death. So we just need to call a lot of support, also even funding. Like if there are funds and resources, at times maybe in hospitals, whereby the instruments and the drugs to help in the post-abortion care there, at least it can control the number of people who are dying out there due to unsafe abortion.
When you talk about, okay, yes, please.
To add more, we can also advocate for youth-friendly services, because we've seen before that the adolescents and the young people, they are more into unsafe abortions. So when advocate for the youth-friendly services, they can be helped. They can be helped. How? Maybe at the facilities, there should be youth-friendly corners that these youth, they can engage with the healthcare providers according to their ages, maybe peer educators between those age brackets. And maybe these people, they can also offer counseling to them. They can also educate them more about the family planning options and the safe abortion options. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. When we talk about advocacy, it all comes back to us, because who advocates? I think earlier on my two guests were talking about stigma, and there is an individual stigma, I think, if I got that right. So that means it begins with you, it begins with me. If we are going to do the advocacy, it has to begin with us, me and you. And just like I said earlier on, this is the big topic show. If your friend missed out, kindly let them know where they can find us on all our channels. That is on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. They can follow us even on Instagram at Coherinet. They can follow us to get whatever they have missed out. It even gives you a gap to, leave your comment and your questions, and we get to know. So before I close up, I would like to get some closing remarks, or something that you'd like to say to our viewers as we are closing up.
Thank you, Madam Alex. As due to that we are on the climax of our topic, we just need to urge and call different stakeholders out there, out maybe in the globe, that to come and still support in the support, like in change in policies, like making our stakeholders, the policymakers, to come to understand that unsafe abortion is one of the leading cause of maternal death, and also due to morbidity. So it brings a lot of things, and it is a burden. And once you look the budget which they attach to the care to be given to those ones who have carried out unsafe abortion, it is quite big. So if they can prevent it from the early stage, it could be of a good benefit. So I continue to call more people to join our platforms, Coherinet TV, so that they can be getting this information to help them to grow big.
Okay, thank you so much. How about you, Fiona?
Well, since we are into more of advocacy, I would like to request all people who are there, our viewers, if in different communities, if at all you want this information to reach to the ground, to where you're staying, and the people in your community, kindly you can contact us, or you can reach out to our emails and inform us. We shall be there. We shall educate everyone about family planning. We shall educate them on sexual reproductive health, and also to know their rights, because there are some people out there, they don't know about their rights. So they can reach out to us. And also we have our Kaki contacts. All those who are in need of counseling, our referrals, accurate information on sexual reproductive health, they can reach out to Aunt Kaki on our toll-free numbers. So I can read out the numbers to them. The one for MTN is 0800 247 247. Airtel 0800 347 347. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Guests, I hope you will be here soon so that we can have more big topic discussions. Before we close the show, unsafe abortion is something huge. And it is not something that you can discuss in just, 30 minutes. So even if it is 1 hour, because it is something that goes beyond. And it leaves a question. In our country, they do handle post-abortion care in hospitals. So it is okay for someone, in short, to do an abortion and come for a post-abortion care service. And it leaves a question and a gap as well. So thank you so much for being with us on this big topic show. Hope to see you again. Until then, bye.